welcome back. It's been a fairly busy day for me today. I've pretty much been going non-stop since I got up. I had some work I had to do outside. Then I came in and had to cook a huge meal, do some cleaning in here, and it was really just go, go, go. Today was also my exercise day, so things were a little hectic. I was able to speak with my brother on the phone for a little while, so that was nice to get to hear his voice. I think maybe we had about, 20 minutes of conversation, and then some technical difficulties on his end. He had went into a store and basically was losing reception, so that was that. But he didn't give me any updates on his channel, which I had mentioned, so I still don't know any kind of time frame or really any more info on that. So supposedly he watches these videos every day, so when you're watching this, that's my hint to you to think about getting something and putting it out there. So that aside, the writing so far today has gone okay. I started around 9 and wrote for about 2 hours, and I was okay with it. I think I mentioned in another video, I introduced yet another new character that I totally had not planned on. So I'm working, with him, and it's really funny because he may not stay throughout the draft. He's this sort of pseudo character that I created a couple of years ago, and I'm not going to give too much beyond that, other than to say that it's more of a novelty to me, like to put him in there and just sort of have that play out than anything. So it may be cut out, I'm not sure, but it's been neat to write it so far. This video is going to include a little bit of a ramble, so if you're uninterested, you can pass by it at this point. But I came across a post today on Twitter, and I'm not going to regurgitate it because I don't remember all the specific words. But basically it dealt with quote-unquote writing tips, and I say that with an eye roll. The thing is, with me now writing this novel, as I said yesterday or the day before, I'm 330,000 words in, so like I've come a long way, at least for myself. But at the same time, doing this for the first time, I'm a novice, so I can do whatever. I mean, I can make huge mistakes in working on this manuscript, and it's okay because there again, I'm a novice. So I'm going to give some advice near the end of this, or somewhere in it, and bear that in mind, that I'm a novice. So if you take my advice for what you will. But going back to what I mentioned on Twitter, there was this thing, and it said something like, what was it? It was something like 5 ways, or 5 common mistakes writers make. It had something to do with using subplot and doing that incorrectly in ways that the little subplots don't tie into the main plot. And I thought of this a little while ago before I was going to make this video. The thing is that I think I should officially hashtag myself as like anti-plot guy or something, because I just seem to constantly see and hear about the importance of plot, and hear people talking about their own plot and all this BS, and to me it really is BS. I mean, I think there should be a point to what you're writing, but I think that shouldn't be engineered. It shouldn't be this thing like, oh, it's going to be cool or exciting to the readers or whatever. Like, there again, I'm a novice, so you may disagree with me, but all of that just seems like such BS to me. Like, I just can't. I have to walk away from it. So, yeah, my advice to you on that, particularly about the plot, but also just in general, if you're new to writing and you're working on a manuscript or a draft, my advice to you is be very weary of anything that says like 5 ways to write this or 10 ways to do this as a writer, like, because people are going to give you advice and it may or may not work for you depending on what you're trying to do. I think it's very much hit or miss. I watched this video the other day where this researcher was talking about how she studies the brain, and in particular her focus has been on people who've suffered strokes and the different types of treatment that those patients receive, and sort of like the level of success depending on the treatment and the person. And basically what the research shows is that because people are so diverse, the treatments have to be diverse as well. And I think that the same is very much true with writing. Like I mean, people write differently, so I'm very weary of this notion of like there's one way to do it, or you know, a certain approach that you have to take, quote unquote, to write a good book. Like I have a hard time buying into that at all. So yeah, I think that kind of sums up my ramble on that. I would just say if you are going to look into, you know, articles and tweets and stuff like that, take it with a grain of salt and try to determine what it is that you want, you know, from your book or from your story. I mean, there are formulas and there are ways to quote-unquote write a good book. You know, you can sit down and approach it in a systematic way to sort of copy this format that's been done and that's been proven to work. Like, your book will probably sell and people will read it. At the same time, you need to keep in mind that doesn't mean that your book is going to be interesting or original or unique, or even that you're going to stick to what I call, quote-unquote, the truth of your story. And to me, that is way much more important. I mean, don't get me wrong, like, as I said, I've spent months now working on this manuscript, and it would be great if people actually are interested in it when I'm done and want to read it, you know, but beyond all else, I have to write it for me, and I think there's a sort of intuitive and organic part of that, for me at least, that I have to follow. And if I, you know, go off the path because, oh, if I do this over here, like, it's going to add these bells and whistles to my story and people will love it, like, I don't want to go there if I can help it. So yeah, as I said, this was kind of a ramble, but that was something that was on my mind today, and I wanted to lend some energy to the video today, as I said. And the one I posted yesterday and the day before, on a personal level, things have been really weird, you know. I could say energy-wise or whatever. It's just like, this is not my favorite time of year at all, and so I'm kind of going through some things on that note. But yeah, I wanted to lend something that I felt had meaning to a video. So that's about all I've got for this one. I need to eat and get back to the writing. I did not do a picture and a quote. I probably won't do that today, but maybe tomorrow. We'll see. I hope that all of you are well. I hope your stories are moving forward. Thank you for your time and attention. Here again, I'll disclaim one last time. If you take any of my advice about writing, understand I am by no means an expert, so I'm just giving you my opinion, so you can take it for what you will. Have a good night.